we live? Are we live? Are we live?
We live.
We live.
It's the DanYo&Tita podcast, episode
25.
That's half of 50.
Yeah, man.
Man,
We're quarter century
you
old.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're doing big things, man.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Tita. Aisha.
I'm Dip.
We got special guests in the building.
Yo, what's good?
This man's a legend.
Yo, what's good?
This
What's
man-
good?
What I
This
do?
man, Dip is watching us live too. Look.
Oh, I'm in the zone.
This man, he started the trend. He started it.
He definitely did.
This man started the online radio in Arizona. This not. We, we basically like his children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Basically his children.
Godfather.
I mean, if you think about it, you know, Radio Super is.
Hey, why that still? Is that still? Why is it still going? That's a long.
I picked the last one. That's why.
Oh,
I picked the wrong one.
man, that's a long round of applause,
Hey,
there,
right.
man.
Well, you got to think about this man just celebrated 10 years.
Right. Hey.
So I had to get the long applause. For
Man.
that. That's a long time.
Hey,
You know
bro,
what I mean?
well, you deserve it then, because that was a long ass round of applause.
We got Radio Super, TJ Super in the building.
Yo, what's good?
We had some technical difficulties early in the show,
One or
We
two.
definitely did.
but
We
you know,
definitely did.
I appreciate you having some laughs with us this morning,
Right.
Because our technical difficulties, but got it up and running.
This is good
I
stuff.
mean, I
man.
appreciate you.
I can tell you. I try to watch you guys. I watch you guys' show usually. If I'm not behind, when I'm working on the Rock the Mic show,
Yeah.
I'm in the morning. I'm like, let me put up
Yeah,
the DanYo&Tita show.
After this show, we definitely turn on to the Rock the Mic show. You already know.
Beautiful.
You're so dope.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got the dose.
But we look
Yeah,
up to you, man.
yeah,
That's
So basically, you know, we're following your footsteps
Definitely.
that you left for everybody to
Mhm.
walk. You know,
that's real.
all these stations and all that.
Yeah,
is
the foundation,
Yeah,
man.
you built that foundation.
Yeah.
What was the? Let's go back in time.
Yeah. This is,
How that started?
It started. Let me try and get the most concise version of this story, man. Okay. I was working on I guess I'll start here. I was working on a project, and I put the project out. Well, first, there wasn't a label. There was no music industry here at the time. We're talking over 10 years ago. Let's say 12, 13 years ago. There was no music industry here. Nothing. Not even close to what it looks like today. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there was nothing here, and I had a project. I did a lot of stuff in New York, and I had an album project. I did a lot of soundtracks that I worked on before.
Mhm.
My brother does film, so he would put out a film, and I would score the film and find artists and put a soundtrack together, put them on the movie,
Wow.
and put the soundtrack
That's
out.
dope.
Wow.
So we had a film came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, well, what do you do next? Because now you got a project and no way to support that project. There was nothing here to push the project, So, and getting something on FM radio at the time was like winning a lottery. It wasn't like the jackpot. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But it was like to pick three. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
right.
Like we
Yeah.
had some joints on there before, but still, it was like it wasn't enough to really support a project.
Right.
Play a joint. I never hear it, but somebody else is like, "Yo, I heard your song on the radio," and that's like dope. But you don't even hear your own song.
Yeah.
You don't know when
Late
they
at
play
night or
it.
something, yeah.
It don't play that much. But big salute out to those DJs who did their thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, cool. So I needed a way to put this project out. Just like I said, no industry. So I put together a label. So I put together a label, Supa Music. So if you guys ever hear that, that's what. So I put together. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I worked on land and distribution and getting things out to iTunes. iTunes was new. Getting things out to iTunes, and then we got a project out to iTunes, which was beautiful. Next project, I got it out to iTunes, got physical distribution on it. It was in the warehouse and stores like that. So things were good. I was working on this young lady's project. I was putting out her album, and we put out her album, and she had a single that she had done a year or two before. So they played the single a year or two before on the radio.
Okay.
And we were at this point of releasing her album a year or two later. So we're like, okay, cool. Well, let's start to push this song. And the radio is like, well, we already played that. FM is like, we already played that. So I'm like, well, I can't even push the single because there's nowhere to push it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had a friend of mine who was, a friend of mine who I met in New York when I worked at the Hit Factory, major recording studio. Slide that in real quick. So I had a friend who worked out. He was like, yo, TJ, you should kick around a radio. And I'm like, nah, at the time, life was hectic. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'm on a DanYo&Tita show, so we can be. We can back about it.
Yes.
So I was a single dad at the time. I had my kid. You know what I'm saying? Baby mom was in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working full time, and I'm doing an album project.
You know
what I'm saying? It was a lot of stuff happening at this point.
Yes, sir.
And he's like, you should open a radio station. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing that. Like, that's wild.
Right. Put more stuff on top of you.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like, you see how much stuff I got going on right now? Like, I got time to be opening a radio station.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I finished this project, and I'm like, okay, so now we got distribution. Now the project is out in stores, and there's absolutely no way to promote this project.
Right.
There's nothing. That's it. It was it. Yeah. So I'm like, I probably need to open a radio station. I need to do it, right? I need to open a radio station, because first it was like, it's this idea of seeing this need, and then you see this need. Just like, going back, you see, okay, I got a project. I put a project together. How do you put, okay, now you got to make a label to put the project out.
Right.
And then after that, oh, damn, now you got a project out. You don't have a way to push it. Now you need to create something else to push that other thing that you needed. So it was this spiraling thing of just getting deeper and deeper into this and having to make more stuff to create something that needed to be there.
Right.
Be there. So that's where the idea for Radio Supa came from there. There was a lot of creative people, a lot of artists, a lot of producers, a lot of people who were doing projects, and there wasn't a way to push them. You know what I mean? It wasn't no outlet. It wasn't there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do consider us to be like there was one person who was operating in radio before this. I shout out to Freeze, you know what I'm saying? He was doing some stuff.
Yeah, the DVDs and all that too.
Yeah, he did some stuff before we launched. But like, I would consider Radio Supa. I like to give him a shout out. But I would consider Radio Supa like the beginning of this whole radio situation that started at Radio Supa and is happening now. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So and that's where the general idea for the station came from. And that was a general idea for why it started and the need and to make it, to turn it into what it turned into. I guess to keep it as concise as possible.
That's the story right there.
That's the story, right? Yeah. That's the story of it.
Man, dude, that's tough.
That birth Radio Supa right there.
That was it.
Yeah,
man.
So with that, how many awards have you got over the years?
Golly, man.
I know you recently got another one.
Yeah, I picked up. This is 2019. I had to check. So we picked up 2 this year. I had a Black Excellence Award in February, and I had.
That's for the soul.
This was a Black Excellence Award.
Okay.
Black Excellence Award, and then I had a Best Radio Host Award.
Brag about it.
That was. It was an interesting party. I realized that the party killed me, whether it was a bodyguard almost wanted to fight me. Stuff like that.
Word?
That was really interesting.
You better back up.
Right. It was really. They wanted to fight. So what do you say? You know what I mean? That's just how that went. But yeah. So 2 this year, and then there's been a lot of accolades that have occurred over the course of the time with radio. So I mean, just pioneering something, and kind of thinking something through, you're going to hit a lot of accolades.
Right,
you know what
right.
I'm saying? You're
Right.
going to hit a lot of firsts. You
Mhm.
you guys had Deli on last week.
Right.
365. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right,
every
definitely.
day you're going to hit a lot of accolades.
Right.
If you're doing something that's outside of the box or outside of the norm. So, it's been an extremely good run. We've covered a lot. Like right now, golly, I mean, we've lifetime listens have been over 3 million or around 3 million, or I don't know.
You saw that?
Yeah. Man, on our original server, the server was they were the largest server at the time. This is probably the first 6 years of our existence. The largest server at the time. I would say they had about 500 radio stations on there that were just hip hop stations.
Wow.
Out of those 500, we were number 2 in the world. You know what I mean? Like, so. So it was crazy. And then we hit numbers like as crazy as, like, I think our highest day we had 37,000 hits in one day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's been wild, and those numbers fluctuate.
Right,
Whatever
definitely
happens in life or
Right,
whatever's happening around and stuff like that. Spotify, Apple Music,
all
those
these
things are going to
different
affect situations with
But-
internet radio and everything with digital radio. So, but now, I mean, the station, we're still doing good. We have a lot of shows from a lot of different places. I think we're probably around, last count was like 15 shows. We got DJs that broadcast from California, New York.
Wow.
I got 2 DJs in the UK that broadcast, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then my show specifically, The Fortress, it's broadcasting on like 21 stations right now. So I mean, I've been trying to work.
That's dope, man.
I've been trying to stay busy, man. I've been trying to stay busy.
What's an accolade that you haven't received yet, or do you even like work for accolades? Is that what you do it for?
You know what? I think sometimes I do. Like at this point, I think I am, and I think that there's something wrong with me, and I think that that's probably why. Like I like a little statue. Like, yes, I got a statue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like statue. Yeah. So you know what? Okay. So there's an accolade that I haven't received, and I don't know exactly how I'm gonna creep up on this one yet. I have some ideas, and something might pop up in the mail any day. It could be tomorrow. It could be 2 years from now. But I wanted a gold record.
Yes.
That's what I wanted, and it's because I spent a lot of time working in the music industry, and that was the achievement, like the gold album on the wall. That's what I want. I just don't know exactly. Just like I said, it could pop up tomorrow, or it could be something that I need to figure out a way to get to. You know what I mean? But for me, that's kind of what. That's kind of like one of the big things. Like, okay, before I die.
So what do you have planned for the future for your shows?
Let me think about the things I can talk about. Things I can talk about. Definitely continued expansion.
Right.
Golly. I probably can't even talk about anything else.
We can't speak on moves right now.
I can't even talk about anything else. There's definitely some other stuff in. There's some other stuff in motion. I try to operate in a way like, we run into a lot of situations where, people work on projects and they get excited about projects. And they talk about the project, and the project it just doesn't materialize sometimes because life happens.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I guess I kind of operate backwards with that, where it's like I think of something stupid and then figure out how it's going to happen, and then by the time I talk about it, I already know how it's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I try to make it so that if I mention this is what I'm doing, then it's actually going to happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to sit on the idea for like a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Before it comes together, before you can even say anything about it. You know? I learned that from my brother who's in film. He used to work on film projects and hand me the script when it was done. Like, yo, look at this. This is done. I'll be, oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's nice. Like, you've been working on this for like 6 months and you never said anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we live in the same house. You could have brought that up. Right. You could have.
That's how it is. Yeah.
You could have mentioned that. But so that's kind of where it's at. So there's a lot of things that are in motion right now.
Okay.
In the next 6 months future, and then there's a lot of things that are in motion in the very near future, and if I think of the things that I can talk about later, I'll pull them out.
Right.
Pull them out. Yeah.
So how long you been doing the force stuff? How many years now?
Golly, the just the radio, just the show.
The show.
The Fortress is.
Fortress.
The Fortress is 10 years. So Radio
Wow.
Supa launched. I want to say November. It was between November 14th and November 17th, 2009.
Okay.
And the first Fortress show was the Tuesday before Christmas of that same year. So we went live and we were just running server content, playing music. And then the first actual live show was the first actual Fortress live show was the December before Christmas 2009. So this past week we just did our 10th anniversary of the Fortress show and Radio Supa technically.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But they're like a slight month apart.
Yeah.
So
and I know you had the what made you want to start the new show with the Rock the Mic?
The Rock the Mic show, you know, it's funny. The Rock the Mic show started by accident. It started by accident. It started by accident because I'd had the Rock the Mic show. So the Rock the Mic show's been on the air, I want to say 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock the Mic show, 2 years before that, I had the idea in my head.
Right.
And I was holding on to it. So it took 2 years for me to actually do it. So a long time ago, way back, I want to say, let's say 2000, it had to be 2011, 2012, something like that. I don't know if you guys remember. I launched a web television station, Supervision. I had a couple of shows running on Supervision. And Supervision was to be kind of like what Radio Supa is, but a video version.
Right.
So keep in mind, this was before Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just about to say that.
Right, you know what I mean? So, but it was crazy because I was running that TV show, and you know, you got with Radio Supa, like, you know, if DanYo's gonna do his show, if you're gonna do your show live, you know, I set you up, you hit the button, and you go live.
Right.
If you're gonna pre-record your show and you send it to me, and I set your show, and your show runs at a certain time, and I'm hands off.
Right.
The issue with Supervision was there was no system in place with Supervision to make things run manually.
Oh, okay.
Like, so, or automatically. So everything had to be run manually. So if a show needed to run at 4 o'clock, I needed to manually start that show at 4 o'clock. And I had 5 shows running at the time.
Oh.
So there was times I would be driving on the freeway with internet inside my car and the laptop starting a show while I was driving.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I was like, okay, this system can't continue because if I get more shows, then if you can imagine, I'm sitting here trying to start shows on the freeway while I'm driving. Like, that's nuts. You know, so I stopped that.
You were doing a lot right there. You was doing a lot.
It was a lot happening. So I stopped that and I said, okay, we're not gonna do that. Right. So fast forward. So I was sitting on the idea for the Rock show for a while, and I'm like, okay, I want to bring this show on, but I want to bring it on television. And I'm almost glad I brought it to web, because if you see the shift in how things work now, you know what I mean? Like, web is just the direction, but I was saving it for television. So I was saving this show for television, and I had one friend of mine who said, yo, let's shoot this TV show. So I said, okay, cool. So I started working on a TV show with them. And while I think we started shooting the first episode. And while I was shooting the first episode, I had another friend call me and say, yo, TJ, check this out. I have a TV show already. I want to move into web television. So I'm going to call, I want you to come help me do that. So I had this show running, and then they called me to start another show. So I was like, okay. So I went over here to start working on this show, and he tells me the name of the show. This is funny. He tells me the name of the show. He's like, the name of the show is, it was like, I don't know, Beats of something. It was Beats of something, or it was, I don't know, something like that. So I don't even remember the name of it. He said it's like Beats of something or Fire something. Bars of Fire, I think he said. He said Bars of Fire. Here's a logo and everything. And I said, okay, cool. That's dope. So then I had a death in the family. So I think he talked to me. Let's see. He talked to me on I don't know. I don't remember what day it was, but he says, okay, cool. So I said, okay, cool. So I said, I gotta go out of town and I gotta fly out of town and go to the funeral. And then when I come back, I'll start working on that. So I think we talked on the weekend or something, the Thursday before. There it is, because the dates are important for this story. The Thursday before. So I fly out of town on Saturday.
Right.
Okay, I get back into town Monday. On Wednesday, I call him and start working on the new show.
Right.
So between when I talked to him Thursday and Saturday, I forgot the name Beats of whatever, and I remembered Rock the Mic Show.
All right.
So I kept saying Rock the Mic Show, Rock the Mic Show.
Yeah.
So then when I got over here and I start working on everything, it's the Rock the Mic Show. Oh, that's not the name of the show. Oh, well, sorry, I forgot the name of the show. So the name of the show is the Rock the Mic Show. You know what I'm saying? So it's the Rock the Mic Show. So between Wednesday and Saturday, I made the logo up, put the whole idea for the show together. And we shot the show on Saturday.
Oh, yes.
And that's how it happened. You know what I mean? And I'm glad it happened like that because I wouldn't have owned the name Beats, and then I ended up breaking off and doing the Rock the Mic Show myself. So it worked out perfect. It worked out perfect.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You're a mastermind.
Right. Daniel, this is the second time it
He should
worked
have
out
said, I
perfect.
forgot the name of the
I'm
show.
gonna throw this out there, and I'm not even gonna go into like full detail on this because I just don't want to go into full detail on it. But I actually was gonna name the station Radio Supa something different.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
this is dope to hear all these stories, man.
I haven't put this story out. I was gonna name Radio Supa something different, and for some reason, the names that I was trying to name it, which is cool because it wasn't after me, it was after somebody else that I don't even work with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the names that I was choosing, they were all taken.
Oh, word.
So when I looked online and I landed Radio Supa, oh, that's not taken. Let me just take that.
No, so just take that.
Yeah, so that's the second time it worked out for me with the name situation. Like, okay, me forgetting the other name because then I don't work with the guy, and now I have the rights to the show. It worked out great. Big salute out to them.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
So a lot of people, with Radio Supa, you have a lot of shows that started off with you.
Right.
Like I said, you're the godfather of this.
Salute.
So, how do you feel when it's time, time to branch off and they go start doing their own thing and creating their own platform?
That's a good question. No, you know what, man? Anybody that I do work with, I work with people with the intent that I want them to grow. You know what I mean? I don't work with somebody in the sense of yo, I got you and now I have to keep you.
Right.
I work with people like I would almost say if I was coming to DanYo and we were gonna do some work together, I would try to figure out what I could do to move you.
Right.
Even if you came to me, what I could do to move you, because my idea is that anybody that I work with, I want them to be able to say, when I started working with TJ, I was here. When I ended working with TJ, I was here.
Right.
They can actually physically see a positive change in their career.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where it was. There's only really been there's been probably a couple situations where I've had people branch off to do other things, and I'm fine with that. I'm almost cool with it. I would say if there was an issue, it might be more connected to how they chose to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The way they chose to do it. You know what I mean? For example, if you hire me and I'm working with you, and then you're doing good, and then you put me on and you open some doors for me, and you do a lot of things for me. You know what I'm saying? You put me on the DanYo show. You know what I'm saying? You put me on my first album. You know what I'm saying? You put me on my first soundtrack. You put me in a film. You put me in all these things. And then all of a sudden, I move and get some opportunities and then act like, oh, you know what, DanYo? Yeah, I got these opportunities. They popped up. Oh, yeah, what I'm going to also do is I'm going to take the idea that you had for your show, and I'm going to use some of the ideas that you work for, and I'm going to take those and do those over here, and I'm not going to show you any love for it. Then I have a problem. True story right there. Then I have an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, because I mean, you spend time working with people and cultivating them
Right.
And I think the idea is that, you know, if you have a team and you make sure your team is good, you make sure the people that
definitely
you work with are good. You know, I mean, I think that's how it's supposed to work.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean?
So, you know, so we're in a couple situations, but you know, you want to communicate with everybody. You know, you don't want to just I don't want to just throw you over there. You know, what I'm saying, to the side and I do my own thing over here. You know,
right?
You know, you got to communicate. It's all about communicating and showing people love at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you seen those people like in public?
He was quick with it. Like that was no hesitation. Yeah.
You see those people.
Like, how does that work out for y'all? Like, is it awkward or is it just like?
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll be awkward. You know what I mean? It'll be awkward. I don't spend that much outward time on it. I don't spend much time on it because there's still so many other things that I move and that I take care of and that I have to take care of. So I don't spend a lot of time on that. But I remember things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think I had an ex one time and she was like, "Hey, you hold grudges," and I'm like, I don't hold grudges. Like, you know, I remember things, like, but I remember things whether it's really good or really bad. Like, if somebody's good to me, I remember that forever, and I will show that person love forever. And then if you act funny with me, then I kind of tend to remember that too. It just kind of works that way. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. So I think, I definitely bump into the people, stuff like that. It's, you know, and people they, you know, they're gonna do what they do. I mean, it's not like
that's crazy.
Not like
that
it stopped us from winning.
You said a woman asked you if you hold grudges.
Right. Right. I think I'm nice. I think I'm really nice.
I mean, we already know what they do. They don't forget shit.
Nah, they don't.
Left the toilet seat up in 2018. Still bring that shit up. Never let that shit down.
Man. Right. Nah, I you know, definitely you're one of the people. Like, there's a lot of people. You want like there's a food.
No, I'm getting the look and shit.
Definitely one of the people out here I look up to when I was making music. You play my records when you're doing. You even know me. You know what I'm saying?
Dope. That's
play
dope,
my records on the show, and I appreciate that.
And
definitely when we decided we're gonna start doing the podcast, you're one of the first people that. I mean, you called me up.
Yeah.
You know, and you supported. You know,
random call.
Yeah, that random call.
Let's get DanYo.
So we live. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was dope, man. I remember that.
So I appreciate it. I thank you for supporting me throughout the years.
Man. We respect that.
It's only right that if you know we created this, only right that we showed the love back to everybody.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
Even though we had a late start this morning.
Yeah. Right.
But you know, any way that we can support back and show love to you, let us know. You know what I'm saying? No problem.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. So I want to speak. You have the one of my favorite things. Make sure I'm make sure I got the show right too.
Right,
The Supa Lyrical?
The Supa Lyrical project.
That's my joint. I love those.
Yes, we just had the Supa Lyrical project. I do them once a year. I think I missed a year, but I do them once a year. And I try to, you know, I be telling my people, I be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We not radio pretty good. You know what I'm saying? We not radio a little bit better than somebody else. We like Radio Supa, so we got to do stuff that's wild. You know what I'm saying? We got to do stuff that's crazy. So with the Supa Lyrical project, like my idea was, yo, I want to do like, what can we do? You know, and keep in mind, we just had Supa Lyrical Project 8. So if you can imagine, you go back to the beginning of the show, the first 1 year into this thing, I'm like, yo, I want to do this show and I want to invite 15 MCs over to my spot and do a live broadcast and close out with a 15 MC cypher. Like, I really wanted to do something that I knew was not going to be happening on any other internet radio station anywhere. You know, so I said, okay, cool. That's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? And I tried to find the dopest, most lyrical MCs at the time. You know, we were having with hip hop, we were having a deficit, a real issue with lyrics
Yeah,
and music.
yes,
You know,
yes,
we
fact.
went through some phases with
We
music
still do.
where sometimes you got to be dope and
Right.
sometimes you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
sometimes you don't. So at the
Facts.
time, I was like, yo, you know what? I need to find like the most lyrical dudes, the most lyrical, and I want to bring them to the cipher. No hiding behind the beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Acapella cipher, everything. So
Uh-oh.
I even have friends at the time. I'm be like, yo, you know, I'm doing this. They get an invite to the Super Lyrical Project. You
Right.
got an invite before.
Right,
You know
right,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
the invites are usually more intricate than that.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
they're usually, I think I sit on there like, this is only good for you. You
Right.
can't bring a guest till you clear your guest. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
It's,
Like,
it's a serious, right?
it's
It's
a
not
serious
game.
situation, you know. I have friends. It could be 3 of them, and 2 of them get the text, and 1 don't. They could be with each other. Like, sorry, you didn't get the
this
message.
is-
You know what I'm saying?
This
You
is
can't
exclusive.
come.
Yeah,
You can't come. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's just I really wanted to do something special for the lyricists.
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
The best
we
of the
pulled that
best.
together. You know, 15 MCs. They come over. We do a beautiful show. You know, and then we close out with a 15 MC cipher, and it's been beautiful every single time to pack 20, 30 people into the spot, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and then do the show and then send that everywhere. It's been beautiful.
I love the spitting part of the show, but the conversations that are
Mhm.
have on the show is the best part to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is real, you know?
Right.
Especially when you got those lyrical MCs and everybody got the different
They're
thoughts.
usually pretty intelligent.
Oh,
guys.
they're smart guys, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, put you on. Yeah, so I like that. I love that show, man. I love
It's
that.
good stuff. It's
Yeah.
really good stuff.
Yeah,
man. So,
I get pumped about that.
right. And this one happened to be mixed with the anniversary too. So it was
Yeah, that's
it
what-
was
yeah.
like 30, 35 people there.
Most
So
definitely.
we have food and everything. I still have food. I should have brought you guys some food.
Oh,
I still have
we got you some
like
food.
potato salad. Potato salad.
Yeah, you should have,
I
man.
love potato salad. I do it once a year.
Oh, okay,
One
okay.
time a
Yeah,
year.
once a
Yeah.
year.
One time a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move that
Yeah,
camera.
so
We just
that's
get the
it.
top of your head right
Yeah,
now.
look at Nate.
Can I get an invitation?
Right.
I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
Send that, you get
Horrible
that text message.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
It's big, man. So,
Definitely. So yeah,
I wanted to say though, real fast though, man. You know, it's kind of amazing that you do so much
Yeah.
for MCs. And were you ever an MC yourself?
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole
Hey,
thing
baby got
started. It started out as me being an MC, man.
Mhm.
It started out as me being an MC. That's where it started. It really all started from, and the other stuff just happened really by snowball. It
Right,
just like,
right.
you know, I was rapping from when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I was like a battle rapper all the way
Mhm.
through high school.
Right.
Then I got out of high school. Then I went to Phoenix College for music business.
Mhm.
And then I left Phoenix College and I went to Conservatory of Recording Arts. You guys
Dope,
remember that
dope.
school?
That's
So
a
at the
school right
time,
there.
it was dumb small. We had 10
Oh, really?
students in a class
Mhm.
and 3 classes a semester.
Wow.
So basically 30 students a year. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, and that was it. So, and keep in mind back then at the time, no music industry again. So they're like, yo, TJ, you know, 8 out of 10 of you guys in this class need to leave.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
After you graduate, there's no industry here. So you need to leave.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'd originally come from New York. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So I go home and I moved through all my records and cassettes and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like what am I seeing on here? So I'm seeing Def Jam, I'm seeing Jive Records, I'm
Mhm.
seeing like, you know, Cold Chillin', I'm seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. So I'm like, yo, I want to intern at Def Jam and Cold Chillin' and Jive Records.
we
That's
did.
where I want to go be an intern
Right.
in New York. And then Jive Records is like intern. So I'm
Oh.
like, oh, okay. So then I fly back to New York and I moved to New York.
Wow.
So
So
then
you official intern over
I
there?
was official intern.
Thank you.
I was they stuck me on the face of their Christmas card if anybody has a Christmas card from '94. But yeah, they stuck me on the face of their Christmas card. So I was there for a year and then I ended up leaving there and going to the Hit Factory. That's a major recording studio out there. And I was there for about 2 or 3 years. And everybody was there. Like I don't even know what to say. Like everybody who was big in the industry, it was
At that
like
time,
an
yeah.
achievement to
Yeah.
get to record.
Hell
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Puff would just walk in.
That was a
You know
dope
what I'm
spot,
saying?
man.
Like
yeah.
Big would just walk in.
Right.
You know, it was
Yeah.
just I don't even know what else to say, but it was like that every single day for the 2.5, 3 years that I worked there. Every
Right.
single day. So I'm there, and Michael Jackson was just there.
Oh,
so it was just. I happened to end up being real good friends with this big engineer who ended up being kind of like a mentor. Big shout out to Herb Powers out there. And he was planning to leave and open his own company.
Okay.
So he's like, "Yo, TJ, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna open my own company. When I come, I'm taking you with me." I said, "Okay, cool." So he left, opened his own company. Then I went and worked for him, and I was assistant manager at that studio.
Oh.
That studio ended up being #1 studio in the world in Billboard magazine.
Wow.
Like I always tell the story to kind of give like people an idea of how big the studio was at the time.
Right.
Like it was so big that Whitney Houston called to book a session, and we were too booked to take her session.
Wow.
So we had to turn Whitney Houston down. Like
Wow.
that's how crazy
crazy.
it was.
Yeah.
Right. That's how crazy it was. It was $325 an hour, and we were booked a month and a half to 3 months in advance.
Wow.
Like that's how crazy it was. You know,
Right.
Puff would come in and get his hair cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the barber would come to the studio to cut Puff's hair while he's mastering. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
crazy.
that's how nuts it was. So I was there for about another 2.5, 3 years, and that studio closed because the owner left. And I ended up working for, I don't know if you guys remember this group, CNC Music Factory.
Definitely.
Back.
CNC?
Yeah,
Definitely, I remember.
CNC,
Oh,
big,
okay.
super big
Yeah, I
dance
remember.
group.
I'm old enough.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Now,
Yeah.
I know something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I ended up running his studio.
Wow.
And I was a student manager at his studio, and then we had a whole bunch of other people in there.
You were letting out here in this
Right,
street.
man.
Right.
That's dope,
Right.
dog.
And that happened for like another 2 years. So I
Right.
mean, I had a crazy background in music even before Radio Supa.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people don't know that. You know what I mean? But that happened, and while I worked in music, my brother was working in film.
Okay.
So that's when I told you he started working on film projects and doing some film stuff, and then he ended up landing a director spot, directed a film. It went national on DVD.
Wow.
I scored that, so I ended up performing in that film. Strangely enough, I did this in like '99, and Emerge McVeigh is in the same movie.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
well,
Yeah,
okay.
he just came up to the spot. So the name of the movie is Hoop Soldiers. So we did that, then we shot another movie, put that other movie out. You know what I'm saying? And then I had family stuff that happened that caused me to have to move from New York back here. So I was studio manager. Like they were talking about giving me 10% ownership of the studio, and then I had like family stuff that happened that was like, you gotta leave, you gotta come back here. Yeah. So I'm in Arizona. Pow. So that's how that.
So how you feel about that? You're gonna give me some segments in a minute. But how you feel about our generation? It's kind of going. We're becoming the old school. And
Right.
I never expected you to say that. Man. We're becoming the old school.
It sounds
Well, once
interesting.
you
doesn't
hit
it?
25, you're old school pretty much now.
Right. It sounds interesting.
You OG at 25.
Well, you got to think about it though, man. The dynamics that these companies look at anyway,
Right,
it's like 14 to 18. That's the demographics that they look at.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
do the
saying? They don't care about what we're doing. That's just the kids, man. That's what they care about. 14 to 18.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once you hit over that, they don't give a fuck what you think no more. You're old.
Right.
The new generation's coming in. Like there's a lot of new artists. When I came out here in 08.
Yeah.
From just that time.
Right.
Like,
Where did you come from?
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington.
Yeah,
Okay.
Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved out here. I'm glad I moved out here, though.
Yeah. Right.
But you can see now looking back now at this time, there's 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're rapping now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't know about you.
No.
They don't know about
No.
Man of the Squads and
Right.
They don't even know about IROC. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
That set the foundation because it's not on TV, but they don't know who set the foundation for Arizona hip hop.
Yeah.
Right.
To get to this level,
No, that's
how
true.
can we, as the hip hop coach out here, get these artists that you need to know about your history, Arizona hip hop history, besides what you know about on TV?
That's a really interesting.
How we get them in the conversation.
Question. That's a really interesting question. and it's a different, it's an odd situation, because at one point you want to stay as visible as you can to people,
Right.
but then also there's levels to everything, you know. Like I remember when I was an intern at Jive Records as an A&R department, and I always had access to CDs. So if somebody wanted a CD, oh, I got the new Keith Murray CD, bam, I had that.
Right.
But then when I was the assistant manager of the studio, or the manager of the studio, I didn't have access to that CD anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there was levels to it.
Okay.
I'm at a different level now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's things that I'm gonna get here at this level, and there's things I'm gonna get at this level. You know what I'm saying? So it's really interesting, because I guess in one sense you want to stay as visible as possible, but then you also have to continue to move up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I feel like these new artists, you know, when you're making your music, you got to go through the radio Supas, you know, those outlets first before you can even reach the big.
Right.
I mean, every once in a blue moon you get an artist that just blows up.
Right.
Lucky, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you got to go to these outlets.
It's all luck, man.
To get your music on the audience. You know what I'm saying?
And see, now for us, even because we're where we're at, like, it's a different situation. Whereas before in the beginning, if I just heard a dope song and it was just a dope artist that nobody knew about, I could just grab him and put him on. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like I got celebrities that call us to book sessions.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't have the same, you know, in order for us to keep moving up and continue to do those things, you know what I mean? I have to make a choice. Am I going to give this airtime to the celebrity that just called me from New York? Or am I going to give it to the guy who has no buzz, who did 2 shows, you know what I'm saying, and might have stumbled upon a good song, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a different situation, you know what I mean? So they might not, you know, they might, it's odd. It's something I guess it's something I juggle, you know what I mean? Because the people we've had on the shows have been crazy recently, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all that. So I'm able to spend less time grabbing that artist. You know, we had Cassidy on, we had MC8 on recently. You know, golly, Ron Browse, a producer at Ether. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're getting those guests in, so I can't grab this guy I saw perform once.
Right.
But I think it's dope because you know, I feel like you have multiple shows. Well, you have the Forest, the Rock the Mic, and you have the music review, right?
Right. There's a music review show also.
You got
a lot of different avenues. Yeah.
So you can get the new artists out and the mainstream artists. So I think that's dope what you're doing with that too.
Right. And big salute to Monique de France Radio Super Music Review Show, man. That show, I love that show, because that show is like, I use that show now as the lane. Like, yo, if you want to, like, what we try to do is we try to give opportunities to artists on that show. Like, we've had artists come on the show, get their first interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Get their music played. We had an artist come on the show, win a mixtape slot with JoJo Simmons, end up on JoJo Simmons mixtape. They flew him out to New York to perform in New York, and put him inside a video with JoJo Simmons. That happened this year.
Yeah.
So we try to, like, give opportunities to artists, you know what I'm saying? And that show was there for, like, new artists to come in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if the stuff is dope, then I'll take it from that show and I'll put it on the other shows. But I'm not as open as I was before, to whereas, like, I can't check every email anymore. It's just too many emails. It's too many emails, too much music coming in all the time. So it almost has to come. Like, if it comes from DanYo, I'll check it.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it doesn't come from DanYo, I gotta be like, yo, this didn't even come from DanYo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, like, go to the music review show and I'll listen to it there. And if you can't catch me to the music review show, don't hit me the day after, because you didn't send your music into the music review show, but you was watching the music review show. And then be like, yo, TJ, can you listen to my track? Because you got to understand how many people are sending me, TJ, can you listen to my track?
Right.
Like, nah, yo, send it to DanYo. You know? DanYo get it to me.
Right.
DanYo get it to me. Go to the music review show.
Man, that's dope, man.
We're going to get in some segments with you real quick. Let's get the
ad first.
we're going to do the ad first.
Yeah.
Official Tish, you want to do it?
If you do it,
I'm gonna do it.
I can read it. I can read it.
Oh, you gonna read it? Because you know, DanYo&Tita podcast is officially sponsored by WaywardKid.com.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
I can't even get
if you like to be a sponsor as well, you just hit up DanYo&Tita podcast at gmail.com. And you can also sponsor the DanYo&Tita podcast. But go ahead, Dip.
Let's give a shout out to WaywardKid.com, our first sponsor. If you love entertainment and anything that has to do with entertaining, this is the site for you. Music, film, fashion, sports, and also podcasts all in one location. It even has links to music, gear, and film equipment. Go to the site, www.waywardkid.com. Click and read the excellent articles about the world of entertainment, news, and local entertainment.
Fire! I need a top 5 for you, boss man.
What top 5 we doing this week?
We're gonna do top 5. Let's do top 5. Who's someone get you? Let's do top 5 shows, online shows. Top 5 online shows.
Online shows. Okay.
In Arizona.
Online shows. Right.
Your personal.
Are we talking about radio, video, anything? Like
radio, podcast, video, all that.
All right, cool.
Anything that you can watch online.
All right.
In Arizona.
Well, listen
Anything I can watch online in Arizona. Okay. So if it's not anything radio Supa, if it's not anything radio
it can be radio Supa.
It can be radio Supa related.
Yep.
Okay. All right. First off, definitely my favorite show is the DanYo&Tita podcast.
We on somebody's top 5.
You know what I'm saying? Bam. That's how we did it. See, accolades. You know
right.
There you go.
Right.
Today's top 5. You know what I'm saying? No, but big salute out to you guys, man.
I appreciate it, boss.
Let's see, shows that I watch that I'm trying to think of shows I'm not on. Let's see here.
So you got that fire.
Right. I like the Monique DeFrance show. I like the Monique DeFrance show.
Okay.
I'm like a host. I still consider myself a guest on that show.
Right.
I like watching the show. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Even though I talk and I'm in front of the camera, but I do really like that show. So big salute out to Red Hat Chucky, and Monique DeFrance and Jay on that one. You know who else's show I like? These might not be in any specific order, other than DanYo&Tita podcast.
Oh, did it again?
Number 1. I like Miss Sincerely Soulful.
Okay.
Sincerely Soulful show. I got 2 slots left, and I'm trying not to miss something.
Right.
Because I get a text message like, "Yo, TJ, what the F?" Let's see here. That you can listen to in Arizona.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm running out of choices here, Daniel. I feel like I'm running out of choices here. I gotta give a big salute to Miss Lovely too. I check out her.
Yeah.
I check out.
Pillow Talk. Yeah.
Pillow Talk show.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do that, you know that might be it.
You gonna do that?
It might be
okay.
4. It might be 4. Right. I'm trying to. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but it might be 4. Yeah, those might be my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Did I mention it? The DanYo&Tita podcast. No, really, my top 5 is the DanYo&Tita podcast, the DanYo&Tita podcast. That's my
man.
That's
all right.
That's dope.
It's time for the trivia right here.
Yeah, we got some trivia for you.
I saw Deli on here last week.
Yeah,
big salute out to my man.
Deli did bad.
Let's not talk about
Yeah, he tried to blame the questions all the time.
He tried to say my questions was too hard.
I'm worried.
Deli almost made history again.
Right.
It wasn't a good way, though.
All right. So we got 5 questions. You get 3 out of the 5 correct. We'll donate $50 to your charity of choice.
Okay.
Question 1. The song "It Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube was very successful. What was the name of the song from which he got the beat?
Dag, man. Hold on. I don't know.
I wonder if it's who I think
Now,
it is.
once you hear it, once you know it,
Do I wonder if it
Yeah,
is
he
who I
gets
think
like
it
you
is.
get lifelines today. You got 3.
I got lifelines.
You can
Yeah,
call
you can
somebody else
use
if you want.
any one of
Call
the fellas in the
somebody
studio today.
Wait.
How many does he get? 3?
How many do I get?
3 lifelines, right?
I got lifelines. This is dope, yo. Call somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
Call
can get
somebody.
that
You got
one.
3
I can
lifelines.
I
You
think
can
I know
call
who it
somebody.
is.
Let me see if I
Am
can
I
call
right?
my man's, yo. My dude is gonna know this.
Yeah, I'm right. Oh shoot!
That's how he picks up.
I'm actually right
That's
on
how
this.
he picks up. Let's hope he picks up. My man's gonna get it. Should I put him
Use
on
lifeline on the first question.
And if you put him on speaker,
yeah.
Yeah, put him
Because
on
once
the
you
speaker.
think about it, you like,
Yeah.
You get
I
3
was like,
lifelines. Using 1.
Do we have
He's
that
got 2
aux
left.
cord so you can plug them in?
Oh, they can put it on the mic. We put it on the mic.
I can't even. He's not even answering.
Oh,
Ah.
so lifeline then.
Shouldn't count.
No, that counts. If you call somebody, don't answer. That's a life.
And they come up
You got me. You
short.
got 2 more.
They come up short. All right. Let's just pray that let's pray I don't get his voicemail, stuff like that. I got his voicemail. I'm finished. Okay, so
You can do 2 more calls.
No, it's okay. It's all right. I'm gonna save my other 2 lifelines.
Okay.
All right.
I might have to catch an L on this one, yo.
Okay.
I feel like I have.
Uh-oh.
I have Roger in my head, but no, call it.
All right. Can I do it?
Yeah, what's the answer, Daniel?
Brothers.
Isley Brothers.
Yeah, I'm guessing
What
which-
song from the Isley Brothers?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Hey, I gotta
Footsteps
do
in
it
the
again. I
dark.
thought you should have known that one.
that was a tough one.
Oh, now my lifeline call back. I'm gonna just tell him how. I'm gonna just tell him how. Hold on, yo, 3, what's good, man?
That was like 30 seconds.
Yo,
Right.
Look.
I'm on a TV show right now, and I called you as a lifeline because I needed some help with a question for a track. You know what I'm saying? But I lost the question. What's the next question? Maybe what is this? Let's ask the next question.
Okay.
While I got him on the line. I might use the lifeline for this one.
You can put him on speaker.
From
Hold
which?
on. I'm about to put you on speakerphone. All right. Yo,
The question
DJ
is-
D3, what's good?
There you go.
We on the DanYo&Tita podcast right now. We live, you know what I mean? So I called you as my lifeline. So I don't want to let you go because then my lifeline will be 0. So you got to stay on the phone through this next question.
All right.
So the question is, from which diva did Kanye West get the sample for his song Through the Wire?
Oh, easy money.
Oh, yeah, that's easy. That's it. No, wait. I got it. Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Okay, I use a lifeline on that one. I stay there, 3. Don't go nowhere.
You get. All right.
Question 3 is,
Chaka Khan. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
whose song No Role Models was released in September of 2014?
That's another easy
Damn,
one.
man. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. I'm coming up short here.
That's another easy
I'm
one.
coming up short. Whose song No Role Models was released in September 2014?
Oh, easy money.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sleep on this, y'all.
That's
So
easy.
sleep. So sleep.
Oh, no, that wasn't slept
No
on.
role models.
They love that.
No role models.
Some people think that's his personal class.
I think
Yeah.
I'm dead asleep on this.
I know this one. Yeah.
Right. It's probably. It sounds like it's an easy.
2014.
I know that wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
No.
That wasn't that long ago. Hold on, 2014. I'm drawing the blanks.
Can I say it?
All right, Daniel, what's the answer today?
It's J. Cole.
J. Cole.
I should have knew that.
Oh, that's that
Peace,
track.
Uncle Phil.
Oh, I didn't even know that was the name of that.
So you was
I'm
one for
gonna hang up. I'll call you back if I need you. All right, cool. So, all right.
you ain't helping me.
Oh,
All right, cool. All right.
Question 4.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop and R&B artist Willie Maxwell Jr. is better known by what stage name?
Oh,
This one's tough.
yeah, it should be. Is it Willie D? The Ghetto Boys.
Good guess, but no.
That is incorrect.
Okay. You acting like Deli now. You acting like Deli now. Oh, I'm gonna need you to get this. Was it 1 out of 4?
1 out of 4. So
So
far.
you need to get this one to Todd Deli.
All right.
Don't make history.
All right. Want to break records? You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah.
All right. I got it.
I believe your question is
Wait,
easier
who
than
was
the
Willie
other two.
Maxwell Jr.? I lost.
Oh,
it.
who
Oh yeah,
You lost it?
Yeah, you're lost.
Willie Maxwell Jr. is Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap.
Oh heck.
1 eye Fetty.
I didn't know that.
Oh heck.
Yeah. I ain't know that either.
Right.
All right.
This is
So
it. I'm gonna nail this one.
last question.
Watch what happens.
question 5 is Don't is the 2015 breakout hit single from which R&B artist?
No way you said crap. No, you look just
That's
like
easy, genuine. No.
Either genuine.
Yo, I'm dead. Yo, this is bad. Yo.
You have a lifeline left,
I'm
right?
about to break a record right here.
He really is like
Hold
0
on.
for 5, 1 for
on.
5.
I gotta cut. This is an R&B artist. I gotta call up. I gotta call chick. Chick. I don't even know who.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Because I knew it was that sample.
Anybody like
Yeah, samples on
nephews, nieces, aunties?
2015, you said?
That's what everybody was saying.
look like Tory Lanez.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me, man.
Hold on.
He said, you,
Not in a bad way. No.
he said you look like Tory Lanez.
I'm gonna call. Hold on. I got it.
Super is. He said he ain't gonna lose it.
He's like, I am not going 1 for 5 today.
Oh man,
Look, I'm about to call.
who you gonna
I
call?
might not even know. Oh, Brittany.
Ah!
Yo,
He's
okay, this is perfect.
Oh man,
Brittany.
Yeah, I'm about to call her up.
he's on the car.
She's gonna love that.
Oh man.
Yo, what up? Yo, where you got Brittany close to you? Dang, really? No? I'm on TV and I need a lifeline and I know she would know the answer. It's about an R&B artist who released the song Don't in 2015. Yo, bring that close. You can't run up on her real quick. I'm on TV live right now.
What you going?
Bryson Tiller.
Bryson Tiller is correct.
You Todd Deli.
That's
Todd
right.
Deli.
That's right. I got
No,
two
not a new
questions
record.
right. That's cool, though. Good look. Thank you very much.
He went
Oh
2
my
for
God.
5 today.
Yeah.
So it don't look like we donating $50.
That was a struggle right there.
Man.
I mean, you didn't get the worst,
You got
but
sweating and stuff.
you didn't win the donate money, but you know. All right, it's time for
You didn't print them out.
let's get for Nate the Great to sit the F
Ooh.
down. Gunshot for Nate. You already know. Hold on, Nate. You got on the mic, Nate.
My bad. All right, so my first hit the F down is for those who Trump's impeachment still has to go through the Senate. Shut your mouth. Okay, we get it. We understand.
Right.
We celebrate the small victories.
Right.
We celebrate the small victories. My second one is for those who project. Stop projecting insecurities and traumas on people like that you don't know, and that's actually been my sit dev down before, but it's very common and it's very frustrating.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Get to know people before we judge them. Like,
Facts,
we
right.
don't got to be regular. Like, we don't got to be that regular. We can be. And then my last sit dev down is for Nicole Marie Poole Franklin.
He's down names.
Yeah, that's her whole name. Nicole
whole
Marie Poole Franklin
Wow.
from Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
Addresses.
Social security number.
Right.
No, but she's charged with murder for hitting a 14-year-old girl at the bus stop because she, thought
She was Mexican.
She
Yeah.
was she was Mexican.
Right.
So she's been charged with a hate crime.
Yeah.
Just so
Stupid.
she didn't have no beef with the little girl. She don't know the little girl. She said, "Oh, there's a Mexican. I'm gonna hit her
with the car.
With a car.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God! She like hit somebody with a car
Because she was for no other reason but because she was Mexican.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
and
retarded.
she was underage, little girl.
She's 14.
14.
She was sitting at the bus stop, like she's waiting for the bus.
She didn't have her quince yet.
Bro, that's trash, bro. That shit hurt my feelings. Like,
That's insane.
if you got that much hate in you, like, why you just end it? Like, you could kill yourself. Like, end it. Like, you don't gotta kill everybody else. Like, we.
That's ridiculous, man.
Oh
That's
my
insane.
gosh,
She's ridiculous.
At the
The
bus
hate
stop.
right now is at an all-time high.
high,
It's
bro,
at a
and
high.
it's-
I mean, I can't say all time, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
definitely
high.
in the high
Yeah.
for this century.
I want it to be.
Right.
Yeah.
For this
No,
century.
thank you to the president.
'Cause
No
the-
help
For
either.
real. Like,
The 20th century was
And
pretty
if he
bad.
Yeah.
does get impeached, they talking about it's gonna be a race.
He's already
Impeached.
impeached.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's already impeached. But
Right.
if the Senate accepts it and pushes it
It's gonna
through,
be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy.
that shit's
If the
Like, end
Senate,
of the
the
world
Senate will not
crazy?
remove him. They're
Yeah,
not
so-
going to remove him. No, they're not. They won't.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
I mean, his
No,
term's
they
almost
won't.
up regardless. We just want to make sure you don't get back.
But he's already
Yeah.
impeached. That's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
But,
Also, please vote 2020.
man, dog, I'm so tired of arguing with brothers online
Yeah.
about voting, man.
I know.
It gets on my
I know.
nerves,
They-
man.
I know.
ignorant of
It gets on my nerves. We don't have power because we don't vote.
The vote ain't gonna do nothing. Shut your looking ass
Dog.
up.
Dog.
Looking ass.
Didn't Trump lose the popular vote? That has nothing to do with it, bro.
Right.
It's been like that for 400 years.
Right.
The electoral college has been there since the beginning.
Forever,
How you
right.
pro-black? Your ancestors fought to vote, but you don't vote.
Right.
That's like defeats the purpose.
Man,
I guess.
we get
Like,
brothers in here all the time that this is what they believe. I just don't agree with it.
I don't either. It's trash.
Right? We don't get a say if we don't vote. They make sure that they put laws on the books.
Yeah.
They put laws on the books, and
Right.
those laws affect us.
Right.
And when you don't vote, you can't change laws and bills.
Facts.
That's period.
Facts.
We can cry all we want to. It won't change anything.
It's just
And
what
the
it
niggas
is, right?
crying ain't even doing nothing in their own community.
I'm
At
sick
all.
of it, man. They
At all.
like, oh, crying and yelling and screaming. It's not going to do nothing. Oh, if we get money, then we can be able to change policy.
What you doing to get money?
Money does not change anything if you don't have the person in power there to be able to buy that person. That's what I've been telling them all week.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can buy politicians, but do you think he gonna buy a politician who don't want to do what you want to do?
Right.
Right.
You have to have the politicians in place who want to go your way, and then you can bribe them.
Right.
You
Right.
can't just bribe anybody. That's not how it works, man.
Randomly, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's gonna work for the people who got him in this place where he's at.
Yeah,
That's who can bribe him.
That's
Not just anyone.
Yeah.
But they and we're ridiculous. What we got on word on the street?
Killed it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Drop somebody.
You killed him. Told him to sit down.
Let that fire go down a little
Yeah.
bit.
I agree with him on
The
that.
holy water.
Yes.
We're gonna get into some word on the street news.
For
A
sure.
lot of shit's that happened this week, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
been
know. I
kinda
didn't know how
crazy.
to lower it down, but I just put a couple stories in there. We had a 17-year-old girl arrested after stealing $1 million plane jet, flying it and then crashing it.
How you flying at 17? People
She
can't
already
even
had some
drive
training.
yet.
She
People
probably
fly-
already had training.
Yeah, she had training.
Damn.
She definitely. You're not just gonna start flying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then we had
in so many different ways. Like, I'm gonna steal a plane.
yeah.
Fly it and crash it.
She was flying in and crashed it, but she was in the air. She was in the air.
Right.
We have 50 Cent is gonna produce an animated black superhero series.
Oh, God, 2 thumbs down.
The show is expected.
Wait, is this
She said 2 thumbs down.
It's chicken.
The show is the show is expected to combine the superhero realm with the anime world and hip hop culture. The lineup of characters includes the leader of the movement, Black Man, his 11-year-old sidekick, Sparrow, the first woman of the group. What's how you say her name? Wandasha? Wadasha?
I want to hear why Dip don't like it.
Wanda Isha.
Oh, Wanaisha. Okay, my man. And a crime fighting pimp and named Soul, and the muscular of the team, Soul Man.
I
So
hate
that's
it. If a white motherfucker came out with this goddamn show, we'd be losing our goddamn mind. We'll be pissed.
Let's see what they doing. Let's see what they
No,
doing.
man, a fucking superhero pimp.
That's what it is.
What the fuck?
That's true.
Man, get that shit out of here,
Hold on,
man.
Pootie Tang was a superhero pimp.
Yeah, he was a
Superhero pimp. That's dumb as fuck, dude. It's for fucking kids. It's a cartoon. That's horrible, man.
Wow.
This is not 1975, man.
The concept
The
We'll
concept
see.
is cool. I'm cool with the concept, man. But when I seen all that stereotypical bullshit, I'm like, man,
Might as
come
well
on,
just
man.
be Boondocks.
Get that fucking shit out of here, man. Boondocks is a play on. It makes fun of stereotypical issues.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It makes fun of it. You know what I'm saying? But this here is just trash, dog. It's bad. Unless he's making fun of this stereotypical shit, I do not see.
Right.
I don't like this at all. So far.
We had a substitute high school teacher fired after he allegedly smoked weed during class.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in the classroom
I love
smoking,
him, man.
passing it to the kids. Trying to hit that, you know what I'm talking about?
That's bad.
Huh?
He had a bad week.
I don't know if
real
he was
bad
passing the kids. He ain't passing the kids, but he was.
The
He was
kids was in
high.
there stressing him the fuck out.
Next couple weeks.
And this is funny too. I don't know if you heard the story. If not, I would like to show you that picture of this story. Police say a suspect approached an artist and asked him for a portrait of himself.
Oh yeah.
The artist finished the picture. Then the suspect grabbed the money bag from the victim, which contained about $500. The suspect then ran away, leaving the portrait of himself.
Oh my god.
Yo, I want to show you the picture real quick
This dude is retarded.
of the suspect,
bad.
and I don't get your reaction.
He's
on
special.
I'm
Can't say retarded.
I'm dying
Yeah.
right now.
Here's that.
Yeah.
Here's homie.
Yeah, I've got
Played himself.
Yeah,
Seriously?
He's done, man.
Played himself.
that's homie right there, y'all. If y'all see this guy,
Mhm.
let us know. I mean, that's your word on the street news.
Done. All right. I
Left the
guess
picture.
go into the link perspective real fast.
Link the split. Everybody quiet because everybody eating.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to taste out this middle of the week. This week we got.
You want to go ahead and do that real fast before it's gone?
We'll do the middle of the week.
You
I guess we could do the middle of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You
kind
don't
of
know.
It's pretty simple, but took me like 20 minutes to make it. I just seasoned some chicken and put some pesto on some rolls. Put the chicken on on top of the pesto, and then shredded some with some shredded mozzarella cheese on top. And then the seasoning on top is just melted butter with some parsley and a little bit of garlic in it, and just put it in the oven like that. Put the roll tops on top. Baked it for like 20 minutes, and it was done. Yeah, Hawaiian rolls.
Mm-hmm. Look, they eating. Look
See, everybody seemed like they like.
They ain't been here in 3 weeks.
Quiet.
Look.
He done
He's
missed.
like, I
He done
haven't
missed the
eaten
last 3 weeks of meals, haven't he?
Yeah.
No.
All
How that tooth over there holding up?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just social.
Yeah, that's it for us this week.
Any personal conversations you want to talk about, Tita?
You don't have a quote for us this week?
Just, you want to do?
Put him
Yeah.
in time.
That's your quote of the week. Come on, Tata.
No worries.
I like that. All right.
This is bomb, yo.
All right, go.
Yeah, no worry. You eat this, you kind of know nothing to worry about.
About to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's get into the link perspective a little bit. We was going to talk about a suspect wanted for stealing from a man in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
They got brother picture up there. The Phoenix Police Department need help finding the suspect for this stolen the man in a wheelchair on a December 3rd. According to the police, 63-year-old man in a wheelchair inside a Quick Trip located at 30th Street at Indian School was withdrawing money from the ATM around 7:20 p.m. And police say the suspect walked up behind the man and stole his little money.
I seen him at the ATM. He was pulling it out the ATM and he ran up.
Right.
Oh my god.
That's funny though.
Christmas time.
I need it.
They got the picture of bruh. I don't know. We can see it how well we can see it.
Oh my
This is
God.
bad, yo.
Clear as hell.
Yeah, it's clear as day.
Oh.
He's done.
Oh yeah.
That's not on. It's on.
No, it's on that one. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So yeah,
over.
he's done,
He's
man.
done. Hey, that's like a rapper.
Right.
Yeah, he's super done. They got his face everywhere.
Everywhere.
Man.
He's
So
done, Billy.
I don't know, but you got to think, dog. The ATMs got cameras, G.
For real. Right.
Right, man. Damn.
That was the first thing they put in.
Right.
Hey, I'm about to put out a best of dip today. You've been going out.
Man, fuck, man.
We
Playing
didn't
your
have to pull out the
crimes.
damn dip this week.
I'm gonna do a damn dip this week.
Man, playing your crimes, dog. You're gonna fucking commit a crime. Plan. You can't do just plans.
But don't leave a paper trail.
You can't do shit on the whim. You can't just, oh damn, that dude got some money. You going to jail.
Yep.
Today is too many cameras. It's just
Most definitely.
Plan your fucking crimes, man. God damn. Anyway, I had another one. Oh, no, two women were found dead inside a Gilbert garage. They don't know for sure what's going on with them. On how they're not. I don't think the autopsies went through yet. But the car was running, so I guess they're thinking they'd committed suicide by what's that?
Carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
That happens too often out here, man.
Yeah. Rescue crews forced entry into the home and located the two men with the car running. So I guess they did a Thelma and Louise type thing when they went out together. But I want to also talk about the rest of what's going on with the impeachment. You know, it's going on to the House now. I think Pelosi is trying to negotiate a better trial for the situation because McConnell and the other senators, Republican senators don't want to have a trial at all or send any witnesses to the trial. They just want to push it through, do whatever Trump's saying to him. So I don't think McConnell want a trial at all. He just want to kind of just brush it to the side. Right. But I think that they're gonna try to hold it back in hopes that makes them have a trial in the Senate. Okay. So we're gonna see what happens and how long this holds out. Myself, I'm kind of on the edge on how they're doing this. I don't know if it's going to work out for the Democrats in the end. With them holding this back, you know, the first thing they're going to say is, "Oh, it must not be a big deal. Y'all just holding it up and trying to, you know, act like it didn't happen." And if they do push it, then nothing happens in the Senate. You know what I'm saying? Then that doesn't really help their cause anyway. It'd be a disappointment. They don't get to see the witnesses who have firsthand knowledge of what happened in the White House in these such situations. Right. But also, you know, if you prolong it, will it move the polls on people what they think? I don't really think anything is getting moved anyways because everything's so polarized nowadays.
So do you think people mostly have their mind made up on?
Right. That's pretty much where I'm getting to. You know, Trump people, he could kill 50,000 motherfuckers. They probably wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he said it during when he was.
He could shoot somebody and they wouldn't care. And they probably would. Right now, I'm to the point where they do not really care what this man has done. And I say it all the time. You know, these are the same people who were so upset that Clinton cheated on his wife, but this guy can cheat in an election, and there's no problem. But they said he lied. He lied under oath, which is, you know, but Trump won't even go under oath. You know what I'm saying? So, which he knows,
avoids subpoenas.
He's right, and we know why, because he done the one to go and lie under oath, which everybody know that's his first thing he's going to do. So I just want to give an update, you know what I'm saying, on everything, and kind of have real knowledge on it instead of just Facebook knowledge, people just posting shit. So next week we'll go into it again and see where's that, and we'll try to have layman terms and talk about it from the perspective of me.
Personally for me, I didn't vote last election. I am not afraid to tell nobody my reasons why. I did not like both of them fools.
That's what they wanted, though.
Yeah, and that's end up like that. But now that knowing that I didn't vote and the condition that we in, and if you vote, go out and vote. And if you still feel like you don't want to vote, talk to somebody and they explain it to you why.
right.
Call dip up.
Yeah, call dip.
Right. I definitely give you a mouthful.
Make you understand. Man. But man, I appreciate
your voice is the only way that your vote's the only way that your voice is gonna be heard.
Man.
Most definitely.
Y'all not doing shit else. Y'all just complaining about everybody else. He's not doing anything.
Right.
He's not doing anything either.
Yeah.
He's not doing no action.
Most definitely.
So when you don't vote, you don't have a say so in nothing.
Right.
That's going on in the country.
Yeah. Definitely. You know, that's how much I got left of my my little sandwich. I was like, I gotta save it. I gotta save that too. Good. I thank you for coming, boss man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your patience.
Yeah.
Taking no difficulties.
Yeah.
Rockman came in here and embarrassed me. I knew he was. I said, watch him push a button,
Right.
And he did.
He's gonna do that.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Like I said, we're like a model after you. You know what I'm saying? We model after
definitely,
you.
man.
If you didn't set that up, why you want to be shows like us
That's
that
definitely
made it happen. So thank you.
Big salute.
And,
Big salute. And
Thank you for
inviting
supporting
me.
us.
definitely.
Yeah,
We've
no
been
blessing.
fans for years, man, and
Mhm.
we definitely gonna keep your eyes on it and whatever you're doing, man. We make sure that you hit us up and we'll make sure.
Yeah,
we
anything
support
that we can be involved in or help out,
it. Definitely.
let us know.
Right.
Thank you for the invite too. For the
Of course,
Like
definitely
that.
for the super lyrical. Yeah,
Yes,
this is
sir.
beautiful. Just like I said, just one of my favorite shows. So I love watching you guys.
you
man.
said it again, y'all. Oh,
Them tamales in the can was all bad. That was all bad. You see her face expression?
I didn't see the tamales in the can.
You gotta watch that
I
one.
saw the, I
Her
saw
face
when you
expression
was
was
coming
just
home.
like-
Oh, when I was going
in the
home?
living room for a whole night.
It don't matter. Hey,
Yep.
everybody said they seen her when I came home from work, but they didn't see the one I jumped out the refrigerator on you.
I saw that one.
I saw the refrigerator. The refrigerator.
I
was
saw the
funny, too.
refrigerator.
That was cold blooded.
That was so
That
funny.
was wrong.
Man,
Yeah.
I was sitting in there wondering, like, how the hell did he get? How did he get in the refrigerator?
It's not like it was
Right.
like a little bit open. It was all the way shut down. I'm like,
Like she had to pull the refrigerator to open it.
You don't have to worry about that, babe. I'm too claustrophobic. I ain't doing that. I'm not dedicated like
They
that.
was
I'm gonna vote too. Yeah.
If you claustrophobic, how'd you get in the
I didn't-
refrigerator?
Right.
You
In my
did
mind,
think
I was like, I
about
ain't gonna
it?
be there for
I
that
can't-
long.
Nah, dog, I can't do it.
Man,
What if she had you
I
sitting
think-
there for like 30 minutes waiting for you to get home?
He had an accomplice.
I did have somebody.
Yes.
It's the DanYo&Tita podcast.
We out.
We out.
Next
Holla,
week.
holla!
I'm
Salute,
talking
salute.
about all that. My food took this shit. You ain't getting my food.